So what I'm going to do now is to do a few more demonstrations with the Black and White Artisan Pro panel. One is a landscape, and the other that I'm going to do is a still life photograph, and I'm going to process it from beginning to the end. So this is a photo that I took some 9 years ago, and I won a prize with it at the International Photography Awards back then. This is how it looked like when I won the prize in 2011, I think it was. So I'm going to try to do this photo again, and I'm trying to come close to this. Back then it took me some, I think 4 or 5 hours to create this photograph in post-production. So now I'm trying to do this in, let's say 5, maybe 10 minutes. So let's get started. So this is the original color photograph, and what I'm going to do now is to first start off with the black and white conversion. And like I would always recommend is to start with the neutral conversion. So now we have the neutral conversion. What I'm going to do now is to just merge down. So I'm not going to be confused with the original color version. So I can do before and after comparison at the very end when I'm adding all the adjustments. So this will be my reference file. And what I'm going to do now is to first darken the sky. I can do that with the lasso tool, but I'm going to go with the rectangular marquee tool now, just roughly select it. I don't even need to be exact with it. And then I'm just going to go with advanced adjustments. So after the black and white conversions, I would always recommend going to the advanced adjustments, and then going to the microzone adjustments, then going back and forth between advanced and microzone. So here we have the sky selected. I just click on darken plus plus, and this is what I get. It's before and after. Let's say that I want to darken the rest of the clouds, but I'm going to do that with the lasso tool this time. So I'm going to make a quick selection, just a random selection like this. And I'm going to stop here, just very random, say darken plus. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for the other side, just quick random selection, just following the lines of the clouds, and do the darken plus as well. So now I'm going to darken this part over here, the top part, and say do something like this, and do a darken plus plus. Okay, so now I have the sky almost, it's beginning to take shape, the shape that I had in mind. So now I'm going to merge down a few layers, just to avoid a large file size increase. So I'm going to merge it down, but of course I'm going to leave the reference file, the background file, or layer actually, so I can do the before and after comparison. This before, this is after. So what I'm going to do now is to try to lighten up those areas over there, and I'm going to do that with the microzone adjustments. So I'm going to take a few samples over here. I've already activated the info, but now I'm going to take a few samples. 201, this is 200, 182, 185, 172. So somewhere around 190, I think. So if I go with this, midlights between 185 and 231, it should be good. So I'm going to activate that. Okay, it's activated. So now I'm going to make a rough selection again, like this, very rough, and just click on, let's say, subtle lighting. Okay. Once more, this is really subtle. Now I'm going to go with medium light, and hopefully it's not too much. Else I can always undo that. Okay, I think it's quite nice. Before, after. Before, after. Okay, I'm going to merge them down a little bit. Before, after. Now I'm going to try to lighten up those areas over there, the sort of mid-gray areas. So I'm going to take a few samples of that. But first I'm going to deactivate the Zone 89 that I just activated because I don't need it anymore. So now I'm going to go with those lighter areas surrounding the bright center of this image. So this is 190, 172, 177, 170, 158. So I'm going to go with this total zone between 139 and 184. So I'm going to activate that. Okay, it's activated. Now I'm going to select that roughly like this, trying to not affect the center, so something like this. And I'll say subtle lighten. Okay, this before, after. Okay, maybe a little bit too light, but let's go with this. Now do the same for that side. And do subtle lighten again. Or an after for both sides. Going to merge it down. Before, after. Okay, I like that, and I'm going to lighten up this specific area around the bench. Subtle lighten. Once more, to make it even lighter. Let's go with a medium lighter. Okay, it's looking good. Maybe just a little bit more. Now I'm going to go a little bit wider. Medium lighten again. Okay, this is good. I'm going to merge down. Merge down. So every 5-6 iterations I would always merge the layers down a little bit. So this is before and this is after. So this is the result that I have up till now. I'm going to darken this a little bit. So now I'm going to take the rectangle marquee tool again, and again just a quick rough selection. You don't even need to be accurate. I'm going to deactivate this later on. You know what, I'm going to deactivate it right now, or else I'm going to forget it. Deactivate. Because I don't need the microzone again, I just need the advanced adjustment. So I'm going back and forth between the microzone and advanced adjustments. So I'm going to darken it. You see, only the foreground has been darkened in a very subtle way. Okay, I'm going to do it again a little bit more because it's a little bit too light and too subtle. So darken it like this, before, after. If you've noticed, I've selected part of the sky as well, but once I clicked on darken plus plus, it only darkened the foreground. Well, it also darkened the sky a little bit, but it is so subtle that that you don't even see it. And the transition from the area that I selected, my target area, to the sky is well, you can't even see it. It's very subtle transition. Before, after. I'm going to merge it down again. Now what I want to do is to, if you look closely, you see all those, what I always call, the details you see in here, those are the things that I would call micro contrast. And those are contrasts, you could also say they are details, but for me it's more than that. They are details, but there are also so-called micro contrasts that will distract the viewer's eyes. And what I want is for the viewer to look at the bench and not so much at all the details in the foreground. So I'm going to remove the micro contrast without removing the details. I hope you can still follow me. So I'm just leaving the details as it is, but I'm just going to tone it down just a little bit so they are not that obvious anymore. So what I'm going to do is to take a few samples again. So I take my lasso tool, and it doesn't matter what you take. I'm going to take a few samples, and it says 25, 32, 21, 30, 36. So let's go with the microzone. I would go with this one, mid shadows. So zone 1 between 24 and 46. Activated. Okay, it's activated. And I'm going to take the rectangle marquee tool again, just a rough selection of that whole section. Say medium darken. Okay, this before, this is after. And notice how I selected the whole area. It's like this. So I included the sky, but the sky hasn't been affected, only the foreground. So this with the rectangular marquee tool, and now after I click the medium darken preset, before, after. And you can see now that all those details that you saw there that were a little bit brighter are now darkened, and so those micro contrasts are not distracting anymore, while the details are still there. So here again, before, after. So I like it like this. I'm going to merge it down, and now I think well, I'm actually done. Maybe I can lighten this up just a little bit more, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to deactivate the mid shadows first. Now I'm going to go with the advanced adjustments. So I'm going back and forth between advanced and microzone adjustments. Just keep in mind, if you use advanced adjustments, it is less accurate than the microzone adjustments, but still very subtle, still very smart. And the microzone adjustments are actually meant if you want to keep intact specific details. And in a specific target area. So now I'm going to, let's say I'm going to use a rectangle marquee tool. I'm going to make a selection like this and then just do a lighten plus. Okay, it's lightened, quite subtle. Okay, I'm going to lighten it even more, and let's say lighten plus plus. Okay, I like it quite better. Maybe just even more. Now I'm going to make the area, my target area, a little bit smaller. I'm going to do another lighten plus plus to create some atmospheric depth from forward to background. Because as you know, atmospheric depth is the phenomenon that says that objects that are farther away from the viewer are always a little bit more fuzzy, a little bit lighter, a little bit less contrasty, they are a little bit less detailed, etc., etc. So just to create this specific atmospheric depth. So that's why I lightened this area around the horizon. So this is before, this is after. So maybe I can do it just a little bit more. And I'm going to use this lasso tool, just quick selection like this. And again, lighten plus plus. Okay, there it is. I kind of like it, so I'm going to merge it down and merge it down. So all the way up to the second layer, so I can do a final before and after comparison. This before and this is after. So with just with a few selections, rough selections, using B&W Artisan Pro, but I can come close to what I had created back there, the prize winning image, which is this one. So this is the prize winning image from back there. This is the new version. Okay, I see that the edges around the frame are a little bit darker, so I'm going to try to emulate that. So what I'm going to do is to make a rough selection again, starting from here, and then I'm going to go all the way that way, let's go to this, there, let's say darken plus. Okay, it's darker, just come close. I think it's close enough. I don't need to exactly replicate that prize winning image from back there. Just do something similar with the B&W Artisan Pro panel and see how what kind of results I would get. So let me add some split toning, because I think this image would benefit from a very nice split toning. I'm going to go with the split tone music, and it's very important if you do some split toning to do this at the very end of your workflow. So once you're almost finished with your black and white image, or completely finished in terms of black and white processing, then you can add split toning. So here I go with split tone music, and I'm going to go with, doesn't matter much, I'm going to go with Into the Mystic. Okay, I'm going to move the slider, because here I can adjust the intensity. I can go all the way up to 100%, looks quite nice. I'm going to go with 84%. So apply, and now some split toning applied, just before, after, and I think it really adds to the mood of the photo. So I think I'm pretty much done with this image, and it's not more than maybe 10 minutes of work, and I didn't even need to do very complex things. Just roughly select the target area, click on darken, and then alternate between advanced and microzone adjustments. Then at the very end add some tone. Oh, wait a minute, I see that the histogram is not completely covered. I'm missing some highlights there. So for this I can use the basic adjustments. Actually I should have done that before the split toning. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to add a few more highlights in there to make a complete tonal range. So I'm going to click on highlights. Alright, and then just look at that. And also with the basic adjustments you can adjust the intensity with the intensity slider, and you have to click apply or cancel. The intensity slider is only available for the basic adjustments and for the toning. I'm going to go with something like this. Okay, it should be quite good. Apply. So just before, after, you see that I have a full tonal range right now. So now I'm done. This is the end result after 10 minutes of work. So next time I'm going to do a demonstration with a still life photograph, and basically I can do any kind of photograph, come up with results that are quite good in just a matter of 10-15 minutes. So thank you for watching.